And Russia has set itself ambitious output targets. At the same time, the reserves it's relied on in the past, well, they're declining. This has increased the urgency for companies like Lukoil to find access to new deposits. Russia's second-largest oil producer beat estimates for the first quarter with profits of $3.5 billion. That was actually 71% higher than last year. But the improvement was largely down to higher crude prices. Production actually fell 5% in that period, in line with the annual rate of decline in its existing fields. It's looking farther afield now to try and reverse that situation. Assets in Ivory Coast and Iraq, part of those plans, as are recent acquisitions in Vietnam and the Arctic, where it has also signed a cooperation deal with Rosneft. Lukoil also says that it wants to expand in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, and is scouting for oil and gas investments in U.S. shale fields too. Well, Andrei Gaidamaka is Director of Strategic Development at Lukoil. He's in London to attend the VTB Russia Calling Conference. And I'm pleased to say he's taken time out to come into the studio, tell us about the company's plans. And certainly that was quite an impressive list of places that the company is looking to expand. So we'll get into that in just a second. But I wanted to start by asking you about the biggest challenges that Russian oil companies are going to be facing in the next few years.
I think that one of the challenges, and probably a large challenge, would be actually to increase our exploration and our organic growth of reserves through drill bit due to a number of things, including taxation, including regulatory regime. But taxation is changing for the better. Taxation, the government is becoming more and more understanding of the fact that in order to have production growing, there is a need to improve taxation and to make it more economics-based rather than physical output-based. And we see, for example, we receive a much better treatment of the Caspian greenfield projects, and we are actually expediting development of those. So I think you should put Caspian on the map there as well.
Okay, so you are, in other words, what you're saying is that you are feeling the financial benefits.
Yes.
Now, Lukoil and Russia's state-run company Rosneft has signed an accord on wine-ranging cooperation. Can you tell me in which specific blocks or areas of the Arctic that you are considering cooperation?
Well, there is Arctic Shelf is an enormous untapped reserve base, and it's this is something that I think that not one single company can really start investing in, and it's important that a few large players start significant investments in the Arctic, because that means that we can share infrastructure, we can create joint infrastructure together with other companies and spread our risks and capital investments. And for example, we already have started investing in the Arctic quite heavily. We have the first Arctic reloading terminal in Varandey. Lukoil is the only company that has experience in working in the Arctic to a significant scale. I mean, we are producing today close to 100,000 barrels per day of oil that runs through Arctic reloading terminal at Varandey.
Talk to me about those risks that you alluded to.
Well, it's Arctic is a very large offshore play that has not seen much of exploration in the Soviet times, and it's only starting right now. So the reason I'm talking about, I'm more in geological capital investment side. It's a tricky environment to work in.
There's a lot of uncertainty because, as you say, it hasn't been explored, it is untapped. But tell me about what makes this area so special. Tell me in clear, simple, layman's terms, if you will, about the scale of potential in this area.
Well, the geologists are talking about hundreds of billions of barrels of potential resources there right now, and like I said, the promising part about it is the fact that it has been untapped for such a long time. It never was really explored to a significant scale.
Yeah. Now, last year, Lukoil bought back shares, paid higher dividends. Oil output fell, though. Should shareholders expect the same dynamic this year?
No, depending what you're talking about, we just posted first quarter results where we generated close to $2 billion, well, actually over $2 billion of free cash flow. And as you rightfully pointed out, we increased our earnings by 70% and we increased our EBITDA by over 40%, with the production costs being kept in check, and they're not increasing. They're actually increasing it below Russian inflation rate. So that shows our sort of success in working with those. In terms of going forward, it's at the same time a fairly significant reduction in capital expenditures in upstream in the previous years. Yes, did result in some decrease in production drilling and some volumes, but we are working today on application of new technologies of horizontal drilling with multiple fracturings, something that is very well known in the West, but in Russia has been barely used.
So, just a quick one. Could oil output fall again as you seek to increase free cash flow and investments abroad in Iraq and West Africa and all these places? You have big expansion plans.
This year, the oil output overall, since you have shown a decrease of production in the first quarter, it's very difficult to come back to growth after a fairly significant drop that we have seen in the first quarter. So yes, in 2011 we probably will see full for the year. We'll have some production decline. Going forward, it's we have two very large developments coming on stream. One is Iraq, as you rightfully pointed out. One is a significant amount of properties in Caspian region. And also the Uzbekistan production is going to continue to increase. So I would say that on oil and gas side, I would say after 2014 we're going to resume a fairly robust growth trend and continue it.
Well, Andrei Gaidamaka of Lukoil, thank you so much for coming in, and do come in again to update us on how your Arctic exploration project is going. It'd be fascinating to hear about that.